Welcome back to the Bob Devaney Sports Center. We are getting ready for the D1 Girls State Basketball Championship between Humphrey St. Francis and Freeman. I'm Kevin Suits alongside John Bishop. Been a good day of basketball so far. This game has the makings of being a pretty good one too.
Yeah, it does. We really do. We have two of the teams who have really made their mark in Class D1 over the years. Freeman with the legendary head coach Ken Cook, who just won his 700th career game when you combine both his boys and girls wins yesterday. And then Humphrey St. Francis, who are the two-time defending champions. They've really been dominant, and they've kind of taken the mantle from the Sandy Creeks, the South Sioux Cities, the teams that have had those magical, West Point Central Catholics, those teams that have had multiple runs, and now it's Humphrey St. Francis kind of carrying the banner for lengthy tradition.
Yeah, the Flyers have definitely built their own dynasty, but how about the nice little reception Freeman had for Coach Cook yesterday? After the game, all the girls went out there. They had banners made for him, and it was a really nice special thing for them, but I think the Falcons want something a little bit more special, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I'm sure Ken Cook, after all was said and done, probably reminded them of that as well.
Absolutely.
Because you don't coach for 38 years, win as many titles and as many games without keeping your eyes on the prize, and he'll have this team ready. It should be a fascinating matchup. It's Freeman and Humphrey St. Francis for the D1 State Championship in prime time right after this.
Hello, I'm Kim Todd. Join me in the Backyard Farmer team each week to find out what you can do to make your gardening easier. We'll have suggestions on landscaping, plant selection, and disease control, plus we'll answer your lawn and gardening questions.
Coming in April to NET1.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Champions rely on strategy and talent. When challenged, performance must be strong. Goals must be clear. Commitment is everything. The Nebraska Public Power District applauds every contestant who practices with passion and fights for the win. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is supported by U.S. Bank, serving Nebraskans for more than 100 years with a wide array of financial products and services for businesses and individuals. U.S. Bank offers banking services at 57 branch offices in 15 Nebraska communities, at ATMs across the country through 24-hour telephone banking and online at usbank.com. U.S. Bank, member FDIC.
Now, when you take a look at the history of these two programs, these two teams have been in this championship game, counting this year, 6 out of the last 7 years. One of these two teams has been in the Class D1 state championship, so there is an awful lot of tradition involved in this tournament game as Humphrey St. Francis, the two-time defending state champions, takes on the Freeman Falcons, who last year didn't make it to the state tournament but have made up for it by making another run towards a title. Freeman 23-2, 25-2, St. Francis 25-0. And now let's meet the players who will be participating in this D1 state championship. We go back across the way to our public address announcer, Doc Winiger.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Nebraska School Activities Association, its member schools, and U.S. Bank, welcome to the Bob Devaney Sports Center for the 2007 Class D1 State Championship game. Tonight's game features the Humphrey St. Francis Lady Flyers versus the Lady Falcons of Freeman High School. And now, let's meet the players and coaches competing in tonight's game. First, the non-starters for the visiting team, the Humphrey St. Francis Lady Flyers. Number 12, Nora McGill. Number 14, Kim Foltz. Number 20, Brooke Richmond. Number 22, Susan Rollman. Number 24, Kelsey Bolts. Number 30, Rebecca Mousebag. Number 32, Jenna Bender. And now, the non-starters for the home team, the Freeman Lady Falcons. Number 11, Brianna Jurgen. Number 14, Tasha Mayer. Number 23, Melissa Hotovy. Number 25, Bailey Boer. Number 40, Kelsey Schuster. Number 43, Ashley Yates. Number 52, Erin Dorr. And now, the starting lineup for the Humphrey St. Francis Lady Flyers. A 5'5" senior number 10, Jennifer Eisenmenger. A 5'10" senior number 34, Janelle Cush. A 5'8" senior number 40, Tracy Sieper. A 5'6" senior number 42, Kendra Bender. And a 5'9" senior number 44, Michelle Weiser. Head coach for St. Francis is Brian Richmond, assisted by Dean Cush. And now, the starting lineup for the Freeman Lady Falcons. A 5'7" junior number 12, Katie Show. A 6' senior number 30, Jodine Rodemaker. A 5'5" senior number 32, Stacy Garacki. A 5'10" senior number 33, Kristen Cruzy. And a 5'5" sophomore number 35, Cassie Verhusen. Head coach for Freeman is Ken Cook, assisted by J.B. Leibel. Tonight's game officials are Chad Lyons, Chris Marachek, and Ryan Speck. The bench official is Greg Moshman. And now, ladies, let's play basketball.
Well, take a look at where these two teams hail. Humphrey St. Francis, as we mentioned, the two-time defending state champions. They know their way here. Both of these teams actually had a little bit of an adventure getting here on Thursday. Freeman as well. Freeman, the consolidated effort of Adams and Philly, two longtime Class D powers in and of their own right. But then they merged and created this super team, if you will, in both boys and girls athletics. And they both are here in this championship game. Not only have these two teams been played, at least one of these two teams has played in 6 of the last 7 state championship games. They represent 4 of the last 5 state champions. So it's only appropriate, I guess, that it's Freeman and it's St. Francis and it's a state championship.
And John, both these teams know how to play in the state tournament. Freeman 8-2, I believe, in the state tourney overall.
Yeah, 8-2 coming into this year, so actually 10-2.
So when they get in, they don't lose.
No, they don't mess around. So here we go. St. Francis is dressed in the dark blue. Freeman with the white jerseys. And the first jump shot on the way. That's going to be short by Janelle Cush. Loose ball. Who's going to get it? Scrum. Tie up. Freeman basketball. Freeman is a team that is not going to wow you with a lot of offensive output. They just know how to get the job done. Now, they did put up 50 on the victory against North Loop Scotian, 44 against Bancroft Rosalie. But they're going to play a deliberate style. They're not going to get too cute.
It's that full court press that gives them a lot of success, but Freeman had no problem with that on their first possession.
Nice little give and go there. The layup missed, though, by Stacy Garacki. Back the other way comes the Flyers of Humphrey St. Francis. Outside, open, long 2, missed by Kendra Bender. She is the star on this St. Francis team, 5'6" senior, averaging 19 points a game. Been a part of those last 2 state championships. Jumping in the way of that pass was Stacy Garacki, and that creates a possession for Freeman.
Well, we're seeing early on how athletic Freeman is. Remember, they won the volleyball title this year, and it's a lot of the same players playing basketball now, and they just have a lot of athleticism, as you can tell defensively, as they created that turnover moments ago.
And there's the jump shot by Jodine Rademacher. And it's 2-0 in favor of the Falcons. Down the floor, Weezer, and that's going to be a blocking foul. It's going to be called against Rademacher. Rademacher, a 6-foot senior, actually averages more rebounds than points. 10 rebounds a game versus 8 points.
It shouldn't be too surprising looking at how tall she is. 6 foot in D1, pretty good size.
We've seen some good sized players here, both in D2 and here in D1. Here's Kendra Bender. And Bender to the free throw line. She's already got 3 rebounds in this game in the first 95 seconds. First foul shot is good. Bender started playing the game at age 5. So when they say they start them young, they start them young.
The basketball's in the crib when they're born.
2-2 our score. Here's Freeman into the front court. Katie Schoen, and now Stacy Garacki. Very deliberate half-court offense here. St. Francis, Eisenminger all over the top. And the shot up from 18, no. Turnaround move in the lane. And Rademacher will go to the free throw line.
You just touched on how she gets all those rebounds. One right there, and an offensive rebound. That's what can make her such a big threat down low, not just in terms of catching and trying to post up down there, but just keeping the ball alive, because that's what the Falcons can really do, just maintain possession for as long as they possibly can.
First foul shot missed. Jodine Rademacher, 6-foot senior, as we mentioned. Scored 15 yesterday in the win over Bancroft Rosalie. Makes the second, and it's a 3-2 Freeman lead. St. Francis can be a very explosive offense. They've scored an average of 75 points a game in the state tournament. They had an 88-point output, as we have a traveling here, an 88-point output against Palmer, which tied a state tournament single-game record. And the amazing thing about that is really, outside of Bender's 22, no one else had really a huge offensive day. They just had a lot of scoring up and down. They really used their bench and were able to blow out Palmer on day one.
And there's that defense creating a big turnover. Freeman a bit unsure of how to attack that defense.
Bender draws a double team, but passes away. Sieper. 3-2 in favor of Freeman here. Early moments here in the D1 championship. And that one went off the hands of Rademacher, so it will remain in favor of the Flyers. St. Francis is only 2 state championships in girls basketball coming in the last 2 seasons, so they have been the dominant team. And last year, if you might recall, they had to replace 4 of 5 starters, as there's an open 3 from the corner. And Cush makes it a 5-3 game.
As you said, start them young, but when you lose 4 of 5 and you're able to do what they did last year.
And now many of those same players are back, so it's back to an experienced bunch for St. Francis. 5-3. That ball was nearly thrown away, and skipped it ahead. Wide open, Jennifer Eisenminger. That ball just kind of squirted out of the pile, and she took it in.
Look at the active hands by the Flyers on the defensive side. Kendra Bender really created that play. She went on the floor and just used her hands just to flip it up ahead as she knew she had a teammate streaking down the floor.
7-3 St. Francis here. Oh, nice little entry pass underneath. It won't roll off the front of the rim in favor of Kristen Cruzy, but Kristen will go to the free throw line and try to knock down a couple. And the foul is going to be on Bender. That's her first. Second team foul against the Flyers. Kristen Cruzy, 6-foot senior, averages 11 points, has scored 13 in each of the first 2 state tournament games.
Always steady, and always a very fun personality. He comes out on the court too. One of those emotional leaders, especially when if Freeman gets on a run some point in this game, especially in this first half, you'll notice a lot of players feed off of her energy.
Look at Bender just weaving her way down the floor, but that pass ricocheted off the hands of Michelle Weiser, and St. Francis turns the ball over to Freeman. And before we get a resume in action, we're going to take a timeout. Humphrey St. Francis 7, Freeman 5. It's the D1 championship on 10-11.
Live coverage of the 2007 State High School Basketball Championships is brought to you in part by the Nebraska Abstinence Education Program, working to prevent teenage pregnancy and the spread of sexually transmitted disease by promoting sexual abstinence until marriage. Where futures begin. Community colleges, Central, Metro, Mid-Plains, Northeast, Southeast, or Western Nebraska community colleges. NC Plus Hybrids and your local NC Plus dealer. The choice is yours, NC Plus. Hastings College, where you can pursue your passion. One Oak Energy Marketing. Natural gas from One Oak. Always a warm welcome.
On Monday, 10-11 will select plays of the game, a top play from all 6 championship games. You can then vote of which one you think was the best at KOLNKGIN.com, and I have a feeling that might be one of the selections.
That's not a bad selection.
Pretty good.
Pretty good play by Crete in the last game too that I can think of. That was nice. But remember fascinated to see what you pick for the final 6.
It's always a tough selection, trust me. It's not on one person's shoulders.
Well, don't put any pressure on me. I'm just on loan here.
We had a lot of votes last year, and we thank all those who participated online. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we also want to invite you to these championship games are going to be seen in all of them, boys and girls, on my TV. You can go to KOLNKGIN.com for the re-air times coming soon. Long pass down the floor. Wow. That was an on-target pass. Kendra Bender couldn't have dropped that one in any better if her name were Zach Taylor.
That one was well executed.
It was.
Drop back and passed right on point. And you see how much Kendra Bender means to this team. So many good things happen when she touches the ball.
It's kind of an interesting looking free throw style there from Michelle Weiser.
Talking about free throws, for those of you just joining us, the previous state championship game, the Class B championship game, 27 straight by the Class B Champs Alliance. It was remarkable.
Yeah, it is.
I have never seen anything like that.
No, I haven't either, and I'm sure it's some kind of a state record. That ball poked out from behind. Turnover. Francis back the other way. Outlet down the floor. Foul. That's going to be on the floor. No shot. On the floor. It'll be number 5 against the Flyers, or excuse me, against the Falcons. We got the St. Francis Flyers and the Freeman Falcons.
Can you squeeze a few more F's in there?
May I have an F, please?
Freeman includes Philly. We'll stop there.
That's fine. Nice little up and under move. But Michelle Weiser.
Rademacher with another rebound. Big surprise.
Yeah, she has been busy here in this first half. 8-5 is our score. Freeman down by 3. There's an open 2. No. Rebound, that was just taken away, just flat taken out of her hands on the shot by Kendra Bender.
She didn't do anything special there. She was just right there reaching in and got the ball.
Hey, look at that, it's a ball. I'm gonna grab it. Not a good enough kiss off the glass, and are they gonna say it's on the floor? Yes, they say it's on the floor. No shots. Foul will be on Katie Schoen.
Freeman's got to watch their foul situation. They're picking them up quickly here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Schoen's got 2 of them. With 2:38 left here in the first quarter, it's 8-5. St. Francis going for 3 in a row, and there's a kiss off the glass by Susan Rollman, who just checked into the game.
It's a good way to start your championship game.
That ball knocked away, Bender getting her hands on it. You know, one thing that really you have to be impressed by, and it gives you an idea of how athletic this team is, but you don't normally see Class D teams that are so deep that they can bring in different players and still be effective.
That's a good point, John, because you got to realize they don't have as many players to choose from.
No.
Because they're a Class D1 school. The enrollment pretty thin compared to classes A and B.
78, not a lot.
And they have what, 13 on the roster?
Michelle Weiser makes it 10-5 St. Francis, and now a steal. Cush, bounce pass, foul, basket, count it. And Susan Rollman goes to the line to add to the lead. And Freeman's gonna have to try to weather a storm here. They just can't seem to get anything going here, and St. Francis is using that defense to set up opportunities. We'll take a look at it again. There's the layup. The foul was committed by Cassie Verhusen, and that is her second. So already Freeman has dug themselves a bit of a hole here with a minute 52 left to go here in this first quarter. They're already down 9, threatening to go down 10.
A 7-0 run that happened in about 2 minutes worth of time. It was a 2-point contest, 7-5, now 14-5, big difference.
Well, St. Francis is as good as that. They get on a roll, and they are hard to stop. And really, Freeman, if they can settle down just a little bit, they've got to find somebody that they can trust, somebody that they can bring it across the floor, get it into the front court, and then make smart passes.
John, I'm not so sure it's settling down. I just think you have to really compliment the Flyers' active hands on defense. They're so scrappy, and they know where to go, they know where to position themselves, so I think it's not so much Freeman needing to just kind of calm the nerves. They need to find a way to get around that good, really good defense.
Well, maybe a few head fakes, a few ball fakes.
Always
would help
remember
that.
the bounce pass.
So to the free throw line goes Susan Rollman, a 5'11" sophomore. It's short, and they're going to call over the back. I think that one will be on Rebecca Mausbach. Yep, Mausbach picks up her first, team foul number 3 on St. Francis.
Now watch this full court press defense. They know where the ball is, and here comes the trap. Right in front of the timeline, well done. But a good job by Freeman getting out of it.
And now they can set up in their half court, off balance shot from the baseline. That was well defended though. Even though Freeman had numbers once they broke the press, still St. Francis back in position to deny the shot. Little backdoor pass, and that's going to be a 3-second lane violation. So St. Francis gives it right back, but again, here comes the pressure.
Just seeing this as an offensive player with the ball in your hand, it can just make you a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky and unsure of what to do next because you don't know where that defender is going to be flying in from.
That shot almost seemed just a little bit forced, a runner, and we're going to have an offensive foul. Freeman's going to get nailed with this one here.
Cruzy might have been a little bit too aggressive trying to get position down low for the rebound, and the Falcons really have to watch this foul situation, John. This could get awfully hairy every time we have a foul from here on out. St. Francis is going to be shooting free throws. They're already up by 9.
Yeah, we're already in the bonus here with a minute 15 left to go in the first quarter, and you hate to say things are looking bleak so early in a game, but the way this game has started, it doesn't give you much confidence that Freeman's got any kind of an answer. They got to find a way here.
Just two things for Freeman to keep in mind right now. A, watch the foul situation as we just alluded to. And two, he's got to hit a couple big shots.
Well, I know
run
it
the
does.
offense and get a couple shots. Like you said, that last one was off balance. There was another one that they rushed.
Well, and the problem is it snowballs because usually it's a team that presses like this, and there it is, active hands in the way as Susan Rollman knocks the ball down. Bender has the easy two.
That was all about the
13-point game, and a traveling is called.
That was all about the tip from Rollman, and here, if you're coming up the sideline, you better kind of back it out and reevaluate the situation. That's not where you want the basketball. You want to try to keep it in the middle of the floor so you have more than one option.
Well, and as I was going to say, it just snowballs because usually it's a team that presses a lot that can get into foul trouble. Well, now they have the advantage. They're in no problems at all. Freeman's already has already put St. Francis in the bonus, and now that just makes you more apt to be aggressive and just let it happen.
It's an 11-0 run for Freeman right now. That's given them the 13-point lead.
Freeman will be able to set up in the half court here with 38 seconds, trying to find a little sunshine here in this darkness of the first quarter. And then you're going to say that tipped off the leg of Tracy Sieper, so Freeman will inbound here.
5 points in a quarter doesn't happen very often for Freeman.
There's good ball movement, wide open three. It's short, but tracks down her own miss. Verhusen keeps it alive for her Falcons, and that's going to be a two free throw situation. Katie Schoen.
Excellent pump fake by Schoen. She had a 15-footer, saw a defender closing in, pump fake, made one dribble, drew the foul.
Just to give you an idea, the way things look early on, it gives you the idea that Freeman is such an outmanned team, but look at Freeman's record. They're 25-2. Their only losses are to Sutton, which is out of class, and Fall City Sacred Heart, which was in the D2 championship game. So this is not a team that, you know, got here because somebody waved a magic wand. I mean, they worked hard and they did well to get here, but St. Francis has just been that much better here tonight.
And those two losses came a long time ago.
Yes, they did. Here's a chance for an outlet down the floor, and Bender blocks it at the buzzer. Most times, that's going to be a layup and a two-point play for Freeman, but the All-Stater Kendra Bender denies Freeman any opportunity. 18-5, Flyers back with more after this.
This is NET1.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
Programming on NET television is provided in part by Education Quest Foundation. For over 20 years, Education Quest has provided free college planning resources to help students search colleges, search for scholarships, complete financial aid applications, and learn more about student loans. Education Quest is located in Kearney, Lincoln, and Omaha. Appointments available at 800-666-3721.
St. Francis's defense limiting Freeman to just 5 first-quarter points thanks to plays like that one by Kendra Bender, the block to end the first quarter. We now enter the second frame, 18-5 the score in favor of Humphrey St. Francis.
And a quick third foul for Cassie Verhusen, and she's going to probably sit for the rest of this first half, and that's 12-point average per game that's on the bench with 3 fouls, so the news just gets worse for the Falcons.
That's your leading scorer on the bench.
First foul shot good by Sieper. You know, one other thing I liked about what Bender did on that block is she took an angle that gave her the best opportunity for the block without committing the foul.
She pretty much let the player's body go in front of her so she could come over the backside and over the top and get the ball. Just the ball only.
Traveling. And it just keeps getting darker and darker for Freeman right now. They just have no answer. They're 1 out of 11 from the field. They're having all kinds of difficulty just getting the ball into the half court.
Yeah, that full court pressure by Humphrey St. Francis is just so good. You can tell they practice that a lot.
Look out, Kendra Bender goes flying into the broadcast table. She's okay.
I mean, the Flyers do not let you breathe. Look at this. Even on the inbound pass.
See what kind of room they get here. Cleanly into the front court, trailing by 15 here in the opening minute of the second quarter. So quick on defense, they just don't allow anything easy. Freeman's gonna have to hit from the outside if they're gonna loosen up this defense in any way. It'd be nice to find someone who can do some dribble drive, some penetration. Here's a turnaround in the lane. Blocked from behind. There she is again. Bender is just all over the floor right now. 4 points, 5 rebounds, couple of blocks.
And these blocks are very impressive blocks. She's just 5 feet 6 inches tall.
That's right. There's a good play off the inbound. Stacey Garacki. But just like that, you've got to be back on defense. And that's going to be a double dribble.
Even though they didn't execute that run out, that shows how good St. Francis is. They had the wherewithal to think, they just made a bucket. We got to get down the floor and make something happen.
It's 20-7. Freeman, oh, there was an opportunity there. Ball got away. Good hustle by Rademacher to track it down and keep the possession for the Falcons. And then you get that, an unforced error, as Tasha Mayers was trying to go back to the top of the circle, and Garacki went one way, the ball went the other, and it's a turnover. And that is, I believe, number 10, 9 or 10 on Freeman here. But given up right back. Down the floor, Garacki lost it. Now it's Bender. She'll run the break. And she'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Bender is just everywhere doing everything. Blocking, stealing, scoring. Just makes so many things happen.
And Ken Cook is giving his 38-year experience words of wisdom to the officials. He's not happy with some of the calls he thinks he's not getting.
I don't think he's happy about having a couple of his players on the bench right now either.
No.
That doesn't help.
9 fouls on Freeman first half. St. Francis with just 4. Bender sinks them 22-7, back to a 15-point game, and here comes that heat once again. Schoen will bring it into the front court. Garacki tried the entry pass to Cruzy, denied, and here comes another break. And when you can get back quickly, you can always have a helpful hand behind you. And in this case, it's Michelle Weiser, and it's 24-7.
The spirits are just a bit depleted for Freeman. They kind of caught a break because the initial layup there was missed. Still, there were 3 Flyers that beat them down the floor to help put it back in.
There's a nice pass underneath, and they're going to call the tie-up. As the ball came in a little low, Cruzy had it down by her waist. She was tied up. The possession arrow is going to stay with Freeman. But first, we're going to have a timeout. It's been all Humphrey St. Francis going for 3 in a row in Class D1.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Success is achieved through commitment. Commitment is the hallmark of champions. Champions are those who never give up. The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates those individuals and teams who persevere. You are all champions. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is supported by U.S. Bank, serving Nebraskans for more than 100 years with a wide array of financial products and services for businesses and individuals. U.S. Bank offers banking services at 57 branch offices in 15 Nebraska communities, at ATMs across the country through 24-hour telephone banking and online at usbank.com. U.S. Bank, member FDIC.
(24-7) the score right now. 5:40 to go in this second quarter. So far, it's been all Humphrey St. Francis.
And just to give you another idea that this Freeman team is not as overmatched as it might appear, as coming up off the miss, Kristen Cruzy with a rare putback for the Flyers. St. Francis, the closest team that played them this year was Bancroft Rosalie. They played them to within 4. Freeman beat Bancroft Rosalie by 5 yesterday. So if you just look at those individual matchups, those game-to-game matchups, you know that these teams have identical records. But it's almost unfair. It's as if this championship game experience, which St. Francis has over the last 2 years, has really come up big. And Freeman, I don't know, was just quite ready for the onslaught that they have received here in this first half. In and out. Nice pass, great break.
Just a well-oiled machine. Defensively, you just saw offensively. See, here comes the trap. There are just so many things that are going right for St. Francis, and this is old hat for them. They know how to play basketball, and unfortunately for Freeman, they're on the other end of it.
Ken Cook wants a 30-second timeout, and he's gonna talk to his charges and try to figure out something that can work in their favor. 30-9. We've had a day of close competitive basketball, but this one has gotten out of hand in a big hurry. As we take a look at that last feed, here's Bender to Sieper. Just like they drew it up in practice, just like they worked on it in practice. And really, I'll be interested to see what Coach Richmond has to say to Lance Schwartz at halftime, but it's almost, you don't want to say it's been the perfect game, but considering the circumstances, it seems like it's been the perfect game so far.
Could they play any better?
Francis.
I don't think they could. This is fantastic basketball on their part.
Considering the pressure it's under.
I find very little to complain about if I'm Coach Richmond.
Considering the pressure you're under in a championship game and the quality of competition, yeah. You almost have to think it's about as close to the perfect half of basketball, or at least the perfect quarter and a half so far, that you can ask for.
23-4 is the run by St. Francis.
There's an open three. Katie Schoen. A little bit of life for the Freeman folks. Ball tipped around and it comes right back to Freeman.
A lot of traffic there in the lane.
Look at that ball movement. Nobody holds it for very long.
And the thing is, when they're holding the ball, they're holding it above their head where no one can really get it. You know, you think if you bring the ball down, they know that the Freeman hands are going to be right there to swat it away. So they keep it up top, and they just kind of keep the ball at above eye level, and that allows them to get that easy bucket.
Well, it makes a defense, and it sets up positions where a defense can overcommit when you move the ball around that quickly and with that kind of precision. 32-12, St. Francis by 20 here in this D1 championship game. Entry pass down low, nice move to her left, and Garacki just didn't finish the shot.
She had 3 defenders right around her and it just wouldn't go in.
Bender, and one.
Good night. Kendra Bender can do everything. Like just all the little nuances of the game just seems so easy to her.
So Bender, who has 8 points.
That doesn't do her justice. You know, she might, well, 8 points, but you gotta have to look at what she's done in the block column, in the steal column, in the assist column.
And then even when she misses, there's Michelle Weiser to pick up the loose ball and put down another shot. And there's a Janelle Cush with the foul
and the expression.
And the smile.
The oops.
Yeah.
That was the oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, that was not intentional.
It's all right for these Flyers player to smile.
Yeah, I think so. 36-12. Another pass almost denied. That shot was partially blocked from behind, but there on the weak side is Kelsey Schuster.
Just a sophomore.
Ball loose down in the lane, and Freeman comes away with it.
Schuster came up with that steal and running the floor.
In control, though. Nope. And again, there was Bender to help out on the defense and help make that shot more difficult. And foul. Wow. Just too fast.
They will run any team in Class D1 out of the gym.
Personal foul.
They got from baseline to baseline in a hurry there.
Yes, they do. This is Tracy Sieper. Take a look at it again here.
It's another one of those long outlet passes, John. It's just right on point.
It's kind of fun to watch one of their practices to see how they work on those types of things. 2 minutes, 21 seconds left here in the first half. And Humphrey St. Francis is on a roll.
Swing music has been called improvised celebration, but it grew out of desperately hard times. Listen to the songs and the stories of the Great Depression in a musical history, Hard Times Swing.
Coming soon to NET1.
The headaches were changing my daily routine.
Migraines caused Karen to see a neurologist who recommended a prescription.
I didn't want the drugs, and that's when she said to start walking. And so I started walking, and I haven't had a headache since. I'm a lot healthier than I was, and I can accomplish a lot more because I feel better. I just let Blue Cross Blue Shield know that I was living proof that walking does work.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska.
The blues are good for you.
No reason to be stoic for Humphrey St. Francis. They're leading 38-14 here in the second quarter of the D1 championship game.
Well, on their way to their 50th consecutive win, which would break the tie they share with, ironically enough, Adams, who is one of the 2 towns of which Freeman is comprised of. Adams had a 49-game win streak from 1984 through 1986. This would put them alone in 9th place all time in Nebraska win streak history. Still less than halfway from West Point Central Catholic state record that ended last year of 111. So there's a little bit of work to do, assuming that they hold on for this one, and we have been given no indication that they won't. The way this first half has gone, it's been almost the perfect half. 38-14. Here's Bender. And Ken Cook can only just lean back in his chair and ask
Personal foul.
We got a lot of players in foul trouble, or at least with early foul trouble. Rodemaker has 3, and then in the double bonus now, first foul shot good by Bender, and into the game for the Falcons is Kelsey Schuster. Rare mistake, a travel.
Haven't seen too many mistakes out of St. Francis, have we?
39-14.
You can bet that even though, despite the margin, St. Francis, they're going to continue to press all the way up until halftime.
Oh, certainly. No reason not to. Game's not over till the final buzzer sounds.
Active hands, just reaching out and knocking it away. Even if you don't get the steal, it's just a sign of good defense.
What it does is it puts that bug in your head that there's always an extra hand out there. There's always someone willing to contest what you do. Sometimes you have a tendency to kind of relax a little bit as you try to set up your half court. This team doesn't allow you to do that. Now there's some nice ball movement there and a good pass underneath to Tasha Mayers.
A good backdoor cut by Mayers that got her free.
Now if they can come up with a stop. Hard to do when you got players like Kendra Bender in there. She has 11 and it's 41-16. Coming up on a minute to play here in this first half.
And exactly what you were just saying, that bug in your head, I think that's exactly what you can attribute that turnover to. You're thinking about passing it towards the top and you see that body moving that way and that hand coming out there, so you start second guessing if that was the right decision.
You have to be very confident with the ball, and that confidence can be frayed to the point where it's non-existent when you are dealing with the kind of pressure they have. And there's a nice steal, but then stolen right back. A drive to the basket, there's Kelsey Fultz.
What a nice clean pick by Fultz. Just went down, slapped the dribble away, chased the ball and got it herself.
Even the turnovers end up being turnovers, because it was a nice play by Freeman to start, as we have a traveling call on Rebecca Mouseback. And that whole sequence started with Freeman making a nice play to steal, but St. Francis never gives up the ship.
Ken Cook has been a busy man. He's done a lot of substituting in this first half. He's had to just keep legs fresh, to keep minds fresh, and to also keep people out of foul trouble.
There's a reach-in foul. That's going to draw the Bronx cheer, if you will, from the officials. They've been wanting the reach-in call for quite a while. Final 30 seconds here of this first half. 3, no good. Offensive rebound. A 2. And it will belong to St. Francis with 11 seconds left. 43-16. The old-fashioned woodshed beating right now. Blocking foul along the baseline. That one's going to be, I believe, on Bailey Boer. Yep.
Bailey Boer. That's her first personal foul.
That's her first foul. And again, we have free throws. Kim Fultz. (44-16), and again,
they're not about to give up either.
No, they're not. And these are all reserves, by the way, on the floor.
They just sit back, wait for the pass, and just go after it.
And that'll do it for the first half of action. It has been all Humphrey St. Francis, 44-16. What a first half for the two-time defending D1 state champions. Be interested to hear what head coach Brian Richmond has to say as he joins Lance Schwartz. Lance?
All right, Coach. A lot to smile about. 65% from the field, a stifling defense. Is this the best first half of the season for your
we
team?
played awful well this first half. We're coming out with energy, and that's what we need to do for our style of game. Yeah, we played awful well. I hope we can play close out the second half.
What are you going to tell the girls here at halftime?
We're not going to change a thing. We'll talk about some things that Coach Cook might change. I'm sure he's going to play a little tighter defense and stuff, probably bring his press back. We'll adjust some things to that, but as far as other stuff, we're not changing much.
Sounds like a good deal. All right, good luck in the second half. Okay, it's Freeman 16 and Humphrey St. Francis 44 at the half. But don't go away, we'll have the D1 All-State team coming up after the break.
30 minutes later, he was joking and laughing around with the guys, and it was all over. But he could get intense.
He said, "You're my fullback, and you're my co-captain." He said, "You're going to play, and you're going to start." And that was all he had to say. He impacted your life. He's a good man.
You ought to run for something in this state.
Coming soon to NET1.
This is Terry Gross, the host of Fresh Air on NET Radio. I'll be speaking in Lincoln on April 10th at Pershing Auditorium. It's a benefit for NET Radio and Television. For tickets, call 402-441-7766.
Look right up there. Look. NET Television would like to invite you to the premiere of Crane Song, a beautiful high-definition program produced by NET Television about the habitat of the Nebraska sandhill cranes. This special night includes dinner and the screening of this remarkable program. Mark your calendars for Sunday, March 11th at 6 p.m. at the Interstate Holiday Inn in Grand Island. Tickets are $50 and benefits the NET Foundation. To reserve your seat, call 800-634-6788.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Champions rely on strategy and talent. When challenged, performance must be strong. Goals must be clear. Commitment is everything. The Nebraska Public Power District applauds every contestant who practices with passion and fights for the win. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is supported by U.S. Bank, serving Nebraskans for more than 100 years with a wide array of financial products and services for businesses and individuals. U.S. Bank offers banking services at 57 branch offices in 15 Nebraska communities, at ATMs across the country through 24-hour telephone banking and online at usbank.com. U.S. Bank, member FDIC.
Coverage of the 2007 High School Basketball Championships on NET is brought to you in part by NPPD, always there when you need us. U.S. Bank provides businesses and consumers with a wide array of financial products and services backed by a 5-star service guarantee. U.S. Bank, member FDIC. And by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska. The Blues are good for you.
The D1 All-State team, the head of the class, Kendra Bender, a lady we've been watching here in the D1 State Championship game from Humphrey St. Francis. John, Bender's done about everything she can here in the first half.
Yeah, she's been a big part of this first half as they've opened up this 28-point lead here in the first half. If you take a look at the other members of the D1 All-State team, Shelby Bodette of Bancroft Rosalie made it to this state tournament, averages 18 points on the season. Cheryl Braithwaite of Arapahoe, another state tournament team. And then a couple of players who couldn't quite get their teams here to Lincoln this year. Eva Benson of Overton and Olivia Grigg of Silver Lake as the coaches picked this all-state team in Class D1.
Always a lot of fun to see who the coaches select because you'll get so many different nominees because coaches see a lot of different players. You got to factor in all the different regions that coaches coach in the state of Nebraska. So obviously the coaches out west are going to vote for some of those players. They see more out west.
Exactly.
And it's D1, they're spread all over the place. So very interesting team we have composed, but at the top, Kendra Bender, deservingly so.
So congratulations to the 5 members of the Coaches All-State team, and we'll have more halftime activities here in just a few minutes. It's 44-16. Humphrey St. Francis leads Freeman as they go for the three-peat in Class D1.
A new generation is coming of age, marked by the events of 9/11. Immersed in technology, they face complex global issues. Judy Woodruff travels the country to explore the beliefs, attitudes, and passions of Generation Next. Speak up, be heard.
Sunday night at 11 Central Time on NET1.
I always tell people it's one of the most amazing wildlife experiences that they'll ever have.
You can look up in the sky, and every single square inch of the sky above you will have a crane in it.
I've studied hundreds of species of birds, really, but just the thought of seeing the cranes in the spring, I can hardly wait.
Coming soon to NET1.
Funding is provided in part by the Dr. Thomas and Dorothy Hallstrom Fund, created to support broadcasting of the Nebraska State High School basketball tournament.
Coverage of the 2007 High School Basketball Championships on NET is brought to you in part by NPPD, always there when you need us. The Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybeans.unl.edu. And by Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, grants, and college planning services.
The first half numbers, as you would expect, all in favor of Humphrey St. Francis. 65% from the field. They went 9 of 10 in the second quarter. They're led by Michelle Weiser with 13 points, 11 for Kendra Bender. In fact, there are 8 different scores in that first half for Humphrey St. Francis. And Freeman right now led by Christian Cruzy with 4. As Freeman was held to just 22% from the field. 17 points off of turnovers right now for Humphrey St. Francis. We'll come back. We'll have more in just a minute.
What would you consider to be the worst investment you've ever made?
The worst investment I ever made? How long do you have?
The world's richest billionaires, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, give students advice on how to get a job, how to find success, and how to help change the world.
Coming in March to NET1.
From the 3rd Annual Austin City Limits Music Festival, Austin City Limits presents An Hour with Sheryl Crow.
Tonight at 11 Central Time on NET1. This is NET1. Coming soon to NET1.
Hello, I'm Kim Todd. Join me in the Backyard Farmer team each week to find out what you can do to make your gardening easier. We'll have suggestions on landscaping, plant selection, and disease control, plus we'll answer your lawn and gardening questions.
Coming in April to NET1.
Back in Coach Cook. Humphrey St. Francis playing awfully well. What do you tell your girls at half?
Well, I told Coach Reichsmith that we should have fun, and I know he's having fun, but we're not. So we're going to try and get back in the game. You know, they're playing really well. we're not playing probably as good as we can, and hopefully we can hit some shots, get our offense going, and break the press. We can't get down the floor.
What is it going to take to get your offense going?
I don't know. I wish I knew, but they're just out quick at us, and that's hard to get into anything. So we'll run some different things and see what happens.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck in the second half. Okay, the halftime score, Humphrey St. Francis leading Freeman 44-16. We'll be back with the second half right after this.
All girls all over the world.
This is NET1.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
Programming on NET television is provided in part by Education Quest Foundation. For over 20 years, Education Quest has provided free college planning resources to help students search colleges, search for scholarships, complete financial aid applications, and learn more about student loans. Education Quest is located in Kearney, Lincoln, and Omaha. Appointments available at 800-666-3721.
Coverage of the 2007 High School Basketball Championships on NET is brought to you in part by NPPD, always there when you need us. U.S. Bank provides businesses and consumers with a wide array of financial products and services backed by a 5-star service guarantee. U.S. Bank, member FDIC. And by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska. The Blues are good for you.
(44-16), the halftime score here at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. Freeman head coach Ken Cook summed it up pretty well. They're having fun, but we're not.
Yeah. Well, when you're on the short end of a 44-16 score, what else can you say, really?
I think he knows how good Humphrey St. Francis really is. They executed well offensively, even better defensively, and the scoreboard is showing that.
Well, and the thing is, and this might be a bit of a disadvantage, St. Francis doesn't know much any other way to play, so I can't expect things to change up too much. I mean, the last thing you want to do is to get too complacent and let a team like Freeman get back into the game. So really, you need to keep doing what you've been doing, even though it would seem to be overkill at this point, as dominating as this Flyer team has been. I guess one thing you can do is be a little bit more deliberate on offense, and we'll see how St. Francis handles this first possession here.
And the silver lining for Freeman may be St. Francis might back off that press here in the second half.
Bender. They'll rotate around. Bender, wide open look for two. Offensive rebound and the putback. Tracy Sieper.
See the way Sieper adjusted her body in midair and just was able to give it a nice kiss off the glass.
And then poked away by Jen Eisenmenger. And a steal. You know, you look at those first half stats and you would think there were a lot more Freeman turnovers. They did have 11, but St. Francis had 12. The real difference is in the shooting.
Freeman shooting just 22% opposed to St. Francis 64%.
And that's because there have been so many contested shots. Tie up, possession error to Freeman.
Not only contested shots on the Freeman end, but you also look at points in the paint, 28 for Humphrey St. Francis.
It's an awful lot. Falcons in white, St. Francis in the solid blue jerseys, going for their third championship in a row in Class D1. Traveling. You know, we've documented through the course of the day how difficult it was for some teams to get here, and both of these teams had an adventure trying to arrive here in Lincoln. Freeman actually doesn't have too far away, only about 50 miles or so out of Lincoln. But it was a tough road to get here. In fact, what they did, Kelsey Schuster, one of the Freeman players, her dad has a plow on the front of his truck. So he put the blade down and he plowed a path literally for Freeman to get to this state tournament. He plowed the path and everyone followed behind him to get here to this state championship.
Because Freeman had one of those 9:30 games, so they had to get here in a hurry.
Yes, they did. They had to be here quickly. There's a running layup by Jen Eisenbinger to make it 50-10. And the same thing for Humphrey, which is up in and around the Columbus area, about an hour and a half away. There's an outlet down the floor. Janelle Cush, and the flood keeps coming, and now Ken Cook is going for a mass substitution. He's going to bring in 5 new players. My goodness. 54-16. This is just, now they're going to call the carry. Oh my.
And here come the wholesale changes for Freeman.
And Cook wants a kick ball, but didn't get it. See, that's the problem. I mean, St. Francis doesn't know any other way to play. And that's why things are getting out of hand as they are.
How do you tell a player to back up, especially a lot of these seniors? This is their final game. I don't think they want to back up by any means.
Certainly. There's a steal for Freeman. Tasha Mayers. Bailey Bohr, and we got a foul. And it's going to go against the Flyers.
John, throughout the day, we've talked about the youth movement that's been this championship Saturday. Not the case for St. Francis. A lot of senior talent on this Flyers team.
Which is why they've won 3 in a row. I mean, you take the ability that they've had the last 2 years, and then you combine those 2 years of experience, and that creates one championship potential. There's a 3 from the corner. Or is it a 2? It's a 2, I'm sorry. Melissa Hotovy makes it 54-18 St. Francis. And Bohr with the defensive rebound for Freeman. St. Francis also had a difficult road to get here. They had whiteout conditions on their way down, but were able to make it safely. And I know there's a lot of folks that were upset that the tournament games went on, but really, you have to think about this for a moment. You've got 5 weekends in a row where the NSAA is sponsoring championships. Next weekend's the boys. The Devaney Center is a busy place this time of year. And the NSAA, in their constitution, has a no Sundays rule. So with all of those things together, when do you play the games? So the NSAA, they worked ahead as much as they could and told teams, if you can at all get here, but we're warning you, we're playing the games on Thursday, and if you can't make it, you're going to forfeit. Well, everyone, to their credit, thankfully was able to make it, but really the NSAA was left with very little choice.
The NSAA really stuck to their guns based on the fact that they were enforcing the rule that, hey, we warned you on Wednesday. This storm was going to move through. Please get here if you can. This is our warning to you. Some teams did. Some teams did not. You really have to applaud the efforts by the NSAA to stick to the guns like that. Well, I mean, there's a interesting turn of events. Some people were wondering, what about Monday? Well, you got to remember the Nebraska men's basketball team is playing their rescheduled game from the Okie State postponement based on weather from a few months ago.
Exactly, and you consider that's another day of missed school and for a lot of these kids. And I realize it's not going to salve the wounds of some people who were mad that they couldn't come here or that braved the elements to get here in frustrating fashion, but it's not like there was not advanced warning in those cases. If there is one thing I would like to see is at least a revisit of the Sunday rule in extreme circumstances. Now that's going to obviously take a change of the constitution of the NSAA, so there's going to have to be a lot of discussion, but I would at least like to see that possibility discussed in extreme circumstances. I would not dare say that they allow open competition on every Sunday, but only in those extreme measures. But then you've got to make sure that you've secured the building that you're in, and there's an open three from the top of the circle for Cassie Verhusen. Makes it 56-21, but that just adds another day that the host venue has to leave a facility open in the event that you have to use an extra day. So you're really between a rock and a hard place.
Something to be considered, I suppose, but I don't know what the NSAA thinks about that, because like you said, you have to go in and rework the Constitution, and that's something that would be a very hard case to crack. That's something you don't really want to do, because the Constitution for the NSAA is the Constitution. That's something you really don't tweak with, but I understand your point.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm just glad that everyone was able to make it safely, and we didn't have to have any forfeits. And
that's the amazing thing. No forfeits occurred out of all of that. Omaha Westside, they have quite the story of how they got here. Same thing for Freeman. There was a chance that the West Point Central Catholic Homer game, there was a chance that that one was going to get postponed, or maybe a double forfeit was in the mix at one point in time.
58-21, Humphrey St. Francis leads it here in the third quarter, and we're back in a moment.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Success is achieved through commitment. Commitment is the hallmark of champions. Champions are those who never give up. The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates those individuals and teams who persevere. You are all champions. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is supported by U.S. Bank, serving Nebraskans for more than 100 years with a wide array of financial products and services for businesses and individuals. U.S. Bank offers banking services at 57 branch offices in 15 Nebraska communities, at ATMs across the country, through 24-hour telephone banking, and online at usbank.com. U.S. Bank, member FDIC.
The scoreboard says 58-21. It's pretty close to the shooting percentages, 65-23.
A miss from St. Francis, a putback. Susan Rollman. They just keep scoring, 60-21, and keep in mind these are all reserves now, so you can't accuse Brian Richmouth of running up the score. He's got reserves in the game for the most part. That's going to go up over the top of the backboard, and that automatically will give the ball back to Humphrey St. Francis here with 2:29 left to go. Not sure what the significance of the towel over the shoulder is, but if it's a good luck charm, he may not need that anymore.
Good luck charm or good look?
Good look charm. It's debatable, I guess.
We've seen coaches over the years at the collegiate ranks, always with the towel to bite on, like Jerry Tarkanian.
Yeah, this is true. To the baseline, open jumper, no. That was short by Brooke Richmouth. And here come the Freeman Flyers. Down by 29 and a travel. Ken Cook, 700 victories in boys and girls basketball combined, 38 years of coaching experience, an absolute legend in his field here in Nebraska.
And as we touched on in the open yesterday, after that 700th win, instead of celebrating the fact that Freeman advanced to the D1 championship game, they all had, the players came out, they had banners made for Coach Cook saying, win number 700, and they gave him a nice round of applause, and it was kind of Ken's moment rather than the players' moment. It was really special.
And you know, really, that gives you an idea how much he means to those communities. He's been around there for so long that the players would overlook the fact that, hey, look at what we did. It's more of, you know, helping someone that they have seen as a mentor, that has coached their sisters, coached their mothers. You know, someone who's been around for so long and has done so much for that area, for the players to be that unselfish. And it was something that the senior class actually did the math back when they were freshmen, and said, hey, you know, if this happens and this happens and this happens, we could be the class that gives Coach Cook his 700th victory, and they did. And I think that really is special. It's nice to see. You know, we hear so much about young people today, and it's about me first, me first. Well, you can't play a sport like this at the level that you play it at, as there's a made two for Kelsey Foltz, and she'll get the bonus and one. But you hear so much about kids and me first. It's nice to see that, you know, in order to succeed, you have to put me first second. And that's what these Freeman girls did for their coach.
Point well made, and I think it's a reflection of the coach. Ken Cook is such a enjoyable personality.
Yes,
he's
he
a
is.
very fun guy, a very genuine person. And you can tell that his players really embrace who he is. And it's not just this team on the floor right now. It's been the teams over the years. This isn't just a one-time thing. Pretty much anybody you meet that has had an interaction with Ken Cook has a positive thing to say.
And the shot rolls off no good. And believe me, no one's going to hurt more after this one than these kids, and they're going to hurt for their coach. Not so much for them as they will hurt for their coach, because they don't like to see the season come to an end like this for his sake. I mean, sure, Ken Cook's got plenty of those little championship plaques to go around on his own, but they would have liked to have handed him one more.
Absolutely. You can never get enough. That's a coach's mentality.
Yeah, it is. 63-21, St. Francis with the lead here. Last minute of play in the third quarter. D1 championship game, turnaround in the lane. That was blocked. And here comes Melissa Hottovy to Erin Dorn. A lot of reserves out there on the floor, as you might expect. Getting as many of their names as we can. Turnover, St. Francis will have it back. Richmond will inbound.
Reserves on both sides on the floor right now. A great third quarter for, it started out as the starters for St. Francis, then the reserves took over. They've scored 19 points in this quarter alone, and a lot of those came the way of, well, the group that's on the floor right now for Humphrey St. Francis.
That was why they were able to score 88 in the first day. Rebound pulled down by Erin Dorn. And now Tasha Mayers will bring it into the front court. 20 seconds left to go here in the third quarter.
Those 88 points came against Palmer, who came into the state tournament with a sub-500 record, their first ever state championship or state tournament appearance.
They had to win 5 in a row to get here, and they had to do it the hard way. They had to win through districts. Shot at the buzzer, no good. And we're down to 8 minutes to go. Humphrey St. Francis on their way to a three-peat, 63-21, and we'll be back.
Swing music has been called improvised celebration, but it grew out of desperately hard times. Listen to the songs and the stories of the Great Depression in a musical history, Hard Times Swing.
Coming soon to NET1.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Champions rely on strategy and talent. When challenged, performance must be strong. Goals must be clear. Commitment is everything. The Nebraska Public Power District applauds every contestant who practices with passion and fights for the win. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
Starters back on the floor for Humphrey St. Francis, leading 63-21 as we begin the fourth quarter. Maybe these starters are on the floor, Jim or John, for a maybe a curtain call somewhere here in the near future.
Yep, no question about it. And there's a lot of them to honor because they've been a part of some special things at Humphrey St. Francis, talking about seniors like Jen Eisenminger. Nora McGill, haven't seen her as much yet, but I'm sure she'll be in pretty soon. Brooke Richmond, Janelle Cush, Tracy Sieper, Kendra Bender, Michelle Weiser, all seniors, a great core that's been a part of 3 straight championships for Humphrey St. Francis. And don't forget, they've got a pretty good volleyball program too. And
these two teams both have pretty good.
Yeah, they
volleyball
do,
programs. And they always run into each other in the state tournament too.
And I'm not. I can understand what the correlation is, because both sports, you have to have the ability to jump, you have to be athletic, but there are still different skill sets. Just because you can spike a volleyball doesn't mean you can shoot a basket, even though the motions can be somewhat similar. But we see it a lot. We saw Bellevue West earlier today. Great volleyball power, win a basketball title. These two programs, for example, we've seen it a lot, where if you have a good volleyball team, those same kids seem to infiltrate over into the basketball program and vice versa. And we have seen a lot of those types of runs. And if you look at boys sports, for example, there really isn't a corollary, if you will. You do see good boys athletes who are football players and basketball players, but you don't seem to see the same intensity. You don't get a lot of football basketball doubles in boys athletics as you do volleyball basketball doubles in girls athletics.
Yeah, you think about volleyball, so much of the skills needed for the sport of volleyball, like you said, spiking, you have to be able to jump well. Well, in basketball, clearly you have to be able to jump well. And also there's a thing about volleyball where you have to just have an innate athletic, you just have to have an intuition. If you look at the libero position, you can't think. That's just all reactionary. And that's a very athletic trait, which I think a person that's a good libero can easily be just a strong hustle player on the basketball floor, if that makes sense.
Well, and the more you talk about it, the more it makes sense, because in basketball, a lot of the things you have, there has to be intuition. Sometimes you just have to anticipate that somebody's going to be there with the pass. Obviously, there's passing in volleyball, there's passing in basketball. So there are similar skill sets, though it just seems to be very interesting how we get, it seems like every year we get a basketball volleyball double.
Yes. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon either.
And I think, and it's a good thing too, because one of the things that you run into as a problem, and this comes from developing basketball talent for the next level. Nebraska has become such a great volleyball state, and you look at that Nebraska roster, and you look at the rosters of other major Division I college volleyball programs, they are sprinkled with Nebraska athletes. There is not as much basketball influence over Division I basketball, though you are starting to see a little bit more of that. Dominique Kelly's coming to Nebraska next year. We've talked about a number of players in this tournament that have interest from some major schools, including Nebraska. So you are starting to see, as we have a discussion over the timing situation here with our scoring table, but you are now starting to see not only great volleyball players carrying on into the college level from Nebraska, but you are starting to get that sprinkling of basketball talent, and that's encouraging too.
And I think today's play, all in all, furthers your point, John. Just because we saw from the start in the D2 game, we saw some talent that could very well go on to the next level. Every single game, I can point out at least one player that should be playing at the next level.
Jodine Rodemaker has fouled out of her last basketball game for Freeman. That was what the discussion was all about, and she has a little bit of a smile. I guess if there's one thing that kind of eases the pain of such a rout, is the result is pretty much inevitable, and you just kind of reserve yourself to the fact that it's not going to work for you. So it takes away a little bit of the pain, though. You hate to be on the losing end of a score.
I just hope every Freeman player takes this in. At some point in time, even though this game is out of hand, they sit back, look around, because you know how many other teams in the state would kill to be on this floor right now?
Exactly. Doesn't matter who they play.
Just take the moment in and reflect upon your accomplishments throughout the season. Yes, this one stings, and it's not exactly the way you wanted it to go today, but there was a long process to get here.
Well, it's really easy to take things for granted, even at a school like Freeman, who we have documented before. There's a nice steal. Just took it away from the All-Stater. Down the floor. No. That was a good defensive play, though, from Stacy Garacki. She said, I don't care if you're an All-State or not. I'm going to take the ball from you. You got something that I want. And Bender went a little flying, and now they're going to run the break down the floor. Garacki passes ahead. Maybe got away with the double dribble. There's a three. Oh, and look at, there's Bender. My goodness.
Bender never gives up. I believe that's her third block today.
I think that there may have been a little bit of a bruise to the ego, and she wanted to get back in there and remind people who she was. Timeout on the floor. St. Francis 67, Freeman 23, and we're back.
On Nova, the U.S. invades Iraq with a new theory of war.
Accomplishing the greatest effect with far less force.
And the weapons of the future. Are the world's most sophisticated weapons winning the conflict? Battle Plan Under Fire.
Tuesday night at 7 Central Time on NET1.
Programming is provided in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska.
These cost about $50. This costs about $57,000. Choosing to use these can help you avoid this. And since inactivity is a better predictor of death than smoking, high blood pressure, and even heart disease, using these more and this less could save you more than money. A message that's good to know from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska.
.25 to go here in the D1 state championship game. Freeman 23, St. Francis 67 as we hit the home stretch.
Ball taken away by St. Francis. It's Susan Rollman down the floor. Here she comes. And she walked, and you know what? I'm glad to see that. Freeman is not giving up the ship, even though this game is all but decided. Cruzy and Schuster were coming down the floor real hard, and now we're going to see the players come off one at a time here. Tracy Sieper, first of the seniors to exit the game for the final time. And I'm sure we will start seeing that at just about every stop of action here.
One by one, I'm sure they'll each get their one individual curtain call, which is a pretty neat thing to do.
And it sure is. It's nice that you're able to do that if you get the opportunity. I'm sure Kendra Bender will be the last one. There she is for three. Janelle Cush has 13 points at 69-23.
And one flyer comes off the bench. So you can expect probably another curtain call forthcoming.
Here comes another break, and that'll go out of bounds. Lance Schwartz is down courtside. We were asking earlier about Coach Brian Richmond and the towel. First, let's salute another one of the seniors. Janelle Cush comes out for her last time. Lance, what's the deal with the towel?
Okay, John, I've done some hard-hitting investigation here in the student section, and they say it is something that he has always done. It's kind of a nervous energy thing, and one of the young ladies told me that every now and then you'll see him throw it in frustration. I have a pretty good feeling we aren't going to see that anymore today.
I don't think it's left his shoulder. He hasn't had anything to be frustrated about.
I want to know who washes that thing.
Well, we've seen some
probably
neat
doesn't
traditions.
need to be washed after today.
Yeah, we've seen some neat traditions over the years with coaches and their wardrobe. My all-time favorite will still always be the pink sweater. Rick Kalura's pink sweater at Lincoln Northeast that won 4 state championships in a row at Class A. That thing was so rat-infested. Okay, rat-infested maybe is not the right word, but it had a lot of holes in it that it got down towards that 4th straight title back in 1998. And believe me, he didn't raise his hands too much because he didn't want to look foolish with those slits in the armpits. But that sweater is enshrined in the Northeast trophy case for perpetuity. And even to this day, you will see at Northeast basketball games and championship games where there'll be a little pink smattered into the crowd. People haven't forgot the pink at Lincoln Northeast, the pink and black.
Michelle Weiser was just had her curtain call moments ago, but this is the big one right here.
And well earned. And you know, this may be her final basketball game, period. She hasn't really decided if she wants to play basketball the next level. She's talked about coming here to the University of Nebraska to work in physical therapy, to study in physical therapy. So who better than someone who knows how to physically get the job done to treat people? And what a what a career she's had.
Well, I think she'll be a star on the intramural teams, though. Just a hunch.
You think someone might pick her first in the old lottery draft?
Yeah, I mean, it may just seem like intramural. I don't use that term loosely. Those games can be pretty heated.
Yeah, that's true. 72-23 and a traveling. And out comes Susan Rollman. She's done. She's one of the sophomores, so she'll be back.
Boy, Rollman looked fantastic today. Defensively, just with those active hands running the top of that trapping defense. I was very impressed with her play today.
Here's the inbound. Coming up on 3 minutes to play here in this D1 final. We've got one more state championship, and it ought to be a good one. Crofton and Norfolk Catholic, two teams that know each other all too well. Crofton, defending champs. Norfolk Catholic has been here, but they just can't get over that hump. Now, earlier today, we saw Bellevue West, one of those teams that just couldn't get over the hump, finally climb the mountain. Could this be Norfolk Catholic's year? We'll find out here in just about 35, 40 minutes or so when they tip off the C1 championship game here at the Devaney Center. Kelsey Foltz will go to the free throw line for the Flyers. You know, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the St. Francis underclassmen because there's going to be a 50-game winning streak on the line when the season opens up next year.
They'll have some big shoes to fill, as we saw when the likes of Kendra Bender and Janelle Cush left the floor. I'm sure that those thoughts maybe ran through some of these youngsters' heads a few times.
You bet. So enjoy it now, because next year the pressure's on.
But they know how to play. They've shown in the second half they're a very solid ball club. So I don't expect any kind of significant drop-off for Humphrey St. Francis next season.
Ball was fumbled away, and Kim Foltz has it into the front court. Here's Nora McGill, one of the seniors, one of the senior reserves. Number 12, a look down low. There's a block, but a little bit too much of the body from Kelsey Schuster. While we're talking about seniors, you know, Freeman, Melissa Hotovy, Jodine Rodemaker, who fouled out earlier on, Stacy Garacki, Kristen Cruzy, all seniors graduating at Freeman, so some shoes to fill there as well. But there are some good players coming back next season, so I got a feeling win number 701 is not going to take too long into next season to get.
I was just looking down here. The official colors of Freeman are navy, silver, not just blue, but North Carolina blue.
Now, do they actually describe it as North Carolina blue in North Carolina? I guess they do call it Carolina blue. 75-23, we'll be back.
Technical.
Yeah, I know. We'll be back right after this.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
Programming on NET television is provided in part by Education Quest Foundation. For over 20 years, Education Quest has provided free college planning resources to help students search colleges, search for scholarships, complete financial aid applications, and learn more about student loans. Education Quest is located in Kearney, Lincoln, and Omaha. Appointments available at 800-666-3721.
The three-peat just 2:40 away for Humphrey St. Francis in the D1 state championship game, and some history on the side of the Flyers, John.
Yeah, already Humphrey St. Francis has eclipsed their own state record for most points in Class D1 over a course of a state tournament. The old record was 218, and as of right now they have scored 228, And they're just 7 points away from the all-time tournament scoring record, which is held by South Sioux City in 2000. They scored 235 points that year, so not that they want to run up the score, and I kind of doubt that Coach Richmond is aware of this, but 7 points away from tying the all-tournament record and erasing South Sioux City from the record book. At least in terms of the all-tournament record. South Sioux would still have the B record if that were to fall here today. So I suppose Kelly Flynn is watching somewhere in South Sioux City with his St. Francis voodoo doll. Don't take us out. It's been a bad enough season. We didn't make it down here, doggone it. Don't be trying to knock off my legacy. Now, believe me, that is assured.
Well, it helps when you score 88 points in the quarterfinal game, and then you follow it up 2 days later with 75 in the championship.
Yeah.
It's a good chunk of points.
No doubt about it. Down the floor it comes. That jump shot was from Kim Foltz. 90 seconds to go, 75-25. A nice pass, and didn't quite use the backboard fully to her advantage. Ball ricocheting around there. St. Francis still shooting 50% for the game, despite the fact they played most of the second half with their reserves.
And Freeman is under 20% at 19% from the field.
It's just not their day. It just was not their day. And
from the outset, too.
And St. Francis,
it's disappointing.
I mean, as we said, that first half was about the perfect half of basketball that you can ask for in a championship game.
Well, the first quarter alone, it was 18-5 after the first 8 minutes.
Final minute of play. And St. Francis will celebrate their third straight state championship, a three-peat. And that rattles in. Melissa Hadavy will leave as a senior, knowing that she scored here in the final moments of this championship game. There's a foul. 1-and-1 free throw coming up. Medal presentations in just a few moments. Interviews with the runner-up coach and the championship team. And then it's our final game of the night. A Class C1 championship between Crofton and Norfolk Catholic.
And there's a good chance that game will not start on time at their 9 o'clock scheduled spot. Got to go through the whole championship procedure, the presentation of trophies here. Once this one has concluded, then the warm-up time. So that game will be delayed, I'd say about 15 minutes or so.
Probably about 20 minutes or so, and that's usually typical with the extended games.
Right.
With our media timeouts and the medal presentations, it usually takes a little longer. So we're not too far behind the usual schedule. We usually tip off that final game of the night around 9:30 or so. There's an outside three, short. 12 seconds left. Humphrey St. Francis. 50 wins in a row. 3 state championships in a row.
And those St. Francis seniors were getting ready to get up off their chairs. They're going to have to sit back down, waiting for the moment.
There it is. A three-peat. Final score, St. Francis 77, Freeman 27. We're back with the medal presentations in just a moment.
Coverage of the 2007 High School Basketball Championships on NET is brought to you in part by NPPD, always there when you need us. The Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybeans.unl.edu. And by Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, grants, and college planning services.
77-27, our final score. Humphrey St. Francis successful in their third state championship in a row. And before we get to the medal presentations, first we need to award the Sportsmanship Award. And for that, let's head back down to our public address announcer, Doc Winiger.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we are pleased to present the Sportsmanship Award for Class D1. We want to thank all schools, students, fans, players, and coaches for their ongoing efforts to improve sportsmanship at the state tournament and throughout the year. We would also like to thank Awards Unlimited and the Nebraska Independent College Foundation for sponsoring these awards. Making the presentation and representing the Nebraska Athletic Directors Association is Tom Ramsbottom of Elkhorn High School. Representing the Nebraska Coaches Association is Ron Kubik of Donovan Trumbull High School. And presenting the award and representing the Nebraska Independent College Foundation is President Jack Pierce. This year's Class D1 Sportsmanship Award is presented to Arapahoe High School. Receiving the award is Cassie Loomis, Parker Loomis, Zach Fogel, and Kim Nation. Congratulations, Arapahoe High School. And now, the Nebraska School Activities Association is pleased to present medals and trophies to both of these outstanding teams. The awards will be presented by NSAA Board of Control members Dr. Bob Resnicek of Omaha Westside, Dr. Brian Maher of Centennial. They'll be assisted by U.S. Bank Representative Karen Gillespie. First, here are the awards for the 2007 Class D1 runner-up from Freeman High School. Will head coach Ken Cook and your assistant step toward the middle of the court to present the silver medals to each member of your team. Players, as your name is called, please come forward to receive your medal. Number 11, Brianna Jurgens. Number 14, Tasha Mayers. Number 23, Melissa Hodaby. Number 25, Bailey Boer. Number 40, Kelsey Schuster. Number 43, Ashley Yates. Number 52, Aaron Dorn. Number 12, Katie Show. Number 30, Jodine Rodemaker. Number 32, Stacy Gorecki. Number 33, Kristen Cruzy. Number 35, Cassie Vierhusen. And now, all of you are welcome to receive the runner-up trophy for your school. Congratulations, Freeman High School 2007 Class D1 State Runner-Up. And now, to the champions from Humphrey St. Francis High School. First, head coach Brian Richmond, we have a special coaches award for you. And now, coach, hand out the gold medals to your championship team members. Players, as your name is called, please come forward to receive your medal. Number 12, Nora McGill. Number 14, Kim Foltz. Number 20, Brooke Richmond. Number 22, Susan Roman. Number 24, Kelsey Foltz. Number 30, Rebecca Mousebag. Number 32, Jenna Bender. Number 10, Jennifer Eisenminger. Number 34, Janelle Cush. Number 40, Tracy Sieper. Number 42, Kendra Bender. Number 44, Michelle Weiser. And now, all of you are welcome to receive the state championship trophy. Congratulations to the Flyers of Humphrey St. Francis High School, the 2007 Class D1 State Basketball Champions.
Someone needs to tell, there you go, hold that trophy up straight. You'd think they would have that practiced by now. I mean, after all, they've been doing it for 3 straight years. Humphrey St. Francis, the victor in this one, 77-27, and we will talk with the state champions coming up in just a few moments on our postgame. We'll also look at the final statistics in this one. In just a second, head coach Ken Cook of Freeman will join Lance Schwartz, and we'll get a few thoughts with him, but I don't know if there isn't much more than you could say. This is the biggest margin of victory in a state championship game in history, and it is already set the record for most points in a Class D1 tournament, St. Francis breaking their own record of just 2 years ago. Let's go down to Lance Schwartz. He's with the legend, Ken Cook.
Exactly, John. We are with the legendary coach, Ken Cook. You haven't been on the losing end of many of these. It's hard to swallow. Assess the damage for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think maybe we had such a build-up for the 700. I tried not to, but the girls really, really wanted that, and maybe we left it on the floor yesterday because I don't think we're as bad as we looked, and I know they're not quite as good as they are, but they had a great game. We didn't. Took us out of everything. Their quickness took us away, but I don't think we're quite as bad as we looked. I hope, anyhow. And we've dealt out a few, and it's a lot more fun on the winning side than it is on the losing side.
As you mentioned, your girls handed you your 700th win yesterday. Obviously an extremely special group of girls. How much fun was this season?
Well, and you know, we celebrate like it was the end of the tournament, and I told them, hey, we got another game to go, but it was very meaningful. It's nice to do it here. I didn't think it could be done. I wasn't sure we could win yesterday or the day before, and the girls came through, and I think they were a little bit let down after the 700 and whatever. I'm very proud of them. I love them, and they're a very good team. We put this on quite a few teams, but it's not as much fun getting it, I'll tell you.
Absolutely. Well, 25-3 this season, an amazing season. So congratulations. Good luck next year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, the final here is Freeman 27, Humphrey St. Francis 77. John will be back after the break with the final stats.
Live coverage of the 2007 State High School Basketball Championships is brought to you in part by the Nebraska Federation of Catholic School Parents, supporting schools that enrich Nebraska communities and promoting educational choice through identity, unity, collaboration, and empowerment. State Farm Insurance is proud to sponsor Nebraska high school sports. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Nebraska's independent colleges offer individualized attention and a close student-faculty relationship with a goal of educational success. Brought to you by E10 Unleaded with Ethanol. You'll see a new label coming soon to pumps across Nebraska. Nebraska Wesleyan University is an honors quality liberal arts institution dedicated to academic excellence in an environment of Christian concern.
Look right up there, look. NET Television would like to invite you to the premiere of Crane Song, a beautiful high-definition program produced by NET Television about the habitat of the Nebraska sandhill cranes. This special night includes dinner and the screening of this remarkable program. Mark your calendars for Sunday, March 11th at 6 p.m. at the Interstate Holiday Inn in Grand Island. Tickets are $50 and benefits the NET Foundation. To reserve your seat, call 800-634-6788.
Humphrey St. Francis wins their third straight state championship, 77-27 over Freeman. The final numbers, really, it was in the field goal shooting. 49% from the field from St. Francis, 65% in that first half, and 19% for Freeman here tonight. 17 points for Michelle Weiser to lead all scorers. Kendra Bender in her final game with 16. Janelle Cush with 13. We'll meet the state champions coming up next here on 1011 and NET.
Swing music has been called improvised celebration, but it grew out of desperately hard times. Listen to the songs and the stories of the Great Depression in a musical history, Hard Times Swing.
Coming soon to NET1.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Success is achieved through commitment. Commitment is the hallmark of champions. Champions are those who never give up. The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates those individuals and teams who persevere. You are all champions. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is supported by U.S. Bank, serving Nebraskans for more than 100 years with a wide array of financial products and services for businesses and individuals. U.S. Bank offers banking services at 57 branch offices in 15 Nebraska communities, at ATMs across the country through 24-hour telephone banking and online at usbank.com. U.S. Bank, member FDIC.
For the third straight year, the D1 championship is headed back to Humphrey St. Francis High School. Joining me now is the head coach of the Flyers, Brian Richmouth. The first, the second, or the third, which one do you prefer?
Oh, I love them all. It's a great feeling, and everyone's just special, Kevin.
Do you have room for this one in that trophy case?
We've got room. We love them. We'll take it home tonight.
Talk about today's performance. Fantastic on your end, especially defensively. Did you expect the game to be this lopsided?
No, not at all. Not at all. We had a walk around this morning. I was scared to death. We just didn't match up with their big girls inside. We talked about that. We said, we've got to make our press work. We've got to have a run and gun game. That's our style. That's the way we played. Girls came out with great energy. We got to jump on them early, and we played a great first half. I don't know if we played that good all year, and it's a good time to do it.
What was the trick to that press? Because it was giving Freeman all kinds of fits all day long.
Well, to tell you the truth, it's our second favorite press. Our regular diamond press didn't match to their press break. I told the girls, we're going to start with that, but I'm sure we're going to go to our two press right off the bat. And two press was the perfect press for what they were breaking it with.
That was your second favorite press?
Yep, second.
And the first favorite press, why did you decide not to go with that?
Well, it didn't match up with what they were trying to do against us.
And talk about this senior class. You say you have 7 seniors. They get to go out on top, and they've been a pretty integral part of this Flyers' success recently.
It's unbelievable. I don't know what you say about them. And they're just special kids, all 7 of them. The 5 starters, seniors. Brooke and Nora on the bench, just great kids. Kendra's dad and Coach Cush started these girls when they were 3rd and 4th grade, brought them up, got them a great start, and unbelievable group of girls.
Brian, thanks so much. Congratulations. Head coach of the Humphrey St. Francis Flyers, the D1 champs. We'll hear from the players coming up after the break.
This is NET1.
What would you consider to be the worst investment you've ever made?
The worst investment I ever made? How long do you have?
The world's richest billionaires, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, give students advice on how to get a job, how to find success, and how to help change the world.
Coming in March to NET1.
Jackie LaVista grew up on a ranch.
We all depended on each other. The land is not going to give to you unless you give to it.
Today, her values reflect that experience.
I think that public television is very nourishing, and if you give something, you'll get something in return.
Jackie included her public television station in her will. Consider joining the community of people who want public television to span generations.
Invest in the future. NET and Nebraska.
Hello, I'm Kim Todd. Join me in the Backyard Farmer team each week to find out what you can do to make your gardening easier. We'll have suggestions on landscaping, plant selection, and disease control, plus we'll answer your lawn and gardening questions.
Coming in April to NET1.
The Class D1 state champions for the third straight year, Humphrey St. Francis. Let's now talk to some of the players of this championship team. Jennifer Eisenminger, you've been in the winner's circle before. This is the third straight time you get to go out on top. One of these 7 seniors. Talk about the run that you guys have had as a senior class.
It's been fun. I've been playing with these girls since like 4th grade, and anyone can look good when you're playing with these girls.
What's that ride been like? I'm sure you guys know everything about each other on and off the court.
Yeah, we just like to hustle, and we all know that, so we just work together, and we can do some great stuff.
Certainly. All that team chemistry. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We appreciate it. Coming up next is Janelle Cush. 5 of 8 from the field today. Not too bad. 13 points, 8 boards. A pretty good game. Just talk about that defense. All in all, you guys really just gave Freeman some headaches with that second favorite full court press. Talk about that.
We knew after yesterday, and we came in the second half yesterday, and we played great defense, and we knew if we did that today that we'd come out on top again just like we did yesterday.
Being one of the seniors of this team, just like Jennifer said, you get to go out on top. It's been such a run for you guys, not only in basketball but in volleyball as well, just an athletic group. How special are you guys?
It feels great. It's not just seniors. We have awesome underclassmen that come in off the bench and do just as good, and it feels great. The seniors didn't do everything. The underclassmen are just as awesome.
Janelle, thank you so much. Congratulations. Tracy Sieper, 8 points, 3 rebounds today. The Freeman fans made their way back to the winner's circle as well. Tracy, talk about today's win. You guys obviously didn't expect it to be this lopsided, but you'll certainly take it, correct?
Yeah, we'll take it. We were a little nervous coming in. We thought they'd be really good, but we just played flyer basketball and tried our best.
What was that like? What were you guys saying to each other in the first quarter where you got out of the gates fast and it was cruise control from there?
Yeah, that's basically flyer basketball for us. We always like to hustle and just out-hustle our opponents and rebound.
Running up and down the floor, and you got the job done. Thank you so much. We'll now bring in Kendra Bender, playing her last game as a Humphrey St. Francis Flyer. 16 points, 8 rebounds, and one of my favorite plays of the day when you were down on the floor and you flipped the ball up ahead to one of your teammates and she laid it in. Talk about your play individually. You were stealing, blocking, scoring, about everything. How well do you think you played today?
I think I played all right. I guess my outside shooting wasn't there today, but I guess that happens. I was shooting pretty well, I thought, at the first 2 games, but today it didn't happen. But we had our teammates. Everybody else was shooting pretty good, so that's all that matters.
How does this championship vary from the previous 2?
Probably because it's my senior year and basketball is probably my favorite sport, so it just makes it so much better.
Kendra, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Michelle Weiser will be joining me in just a second as she gets her hands on the trophy. 17 points, 5 for 5 from the line, not too bad, and 5 rebounds to go with it. Michelle, just talk about today's game, and you're a state champion yet again.
I thought today's game went really good. We played with a lot of intensity, and we all played well together, so everything went together good.
I got to ask one of you guys about Coach Richmond. He just seems like a fun guy to play for. Is that the case?
Yes, he's absolutely awesome. I love him to death, and I couldn't trade him for anybody else.
What makes him so good?
He encourages us during practice and during the game. He never puts us down. He helps us improve on what we have been doing wrong and tells us what to do.
Seems like a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun when you win 77-27. That's the final in the D1 champion. We'll be right back.
Come on,